What's up, guys? Good to be back. All right, a little change of pace for today, actually. I decided that I wanted to try out some multiplayer games, and not specifically because I've developed some newfound passion for multiplayer. Don't worry about that. It's actually because a couple of cards came out in the last couple sets for my mono-green Omnath deck, and I've been really eager to try them out in multiplayer because I want to see if they're suited for multiplayer. I want to see if they're suited for 1v1. My instincts say that they're both much more suited for multiplayer, and they both feel like win more cards in 1v1. Not convinced about one of them, but pretty sure about the other one. But anyway, I'm going to get to that. I'm up against three opponents right here: Joe C. Chill, Ruby Tuesday, and Raychurn. And this is actually going to be the first of two games that I'm going to be showing that are multiplayer. This one is actually over in a hurry due to some degeneracy, so unfortunately there's not going to be a lot of opportunity to really test anything. I'm actually have to be very careful with the clicking here. It behaves really differently in multiplayer versus in 1v1. For some reason, if you click rapidly, it'll just spam through a million turns and you won't be able to narrate. So I'm going to be clicking very deliberately in order to avoid doing that. Anyway, the two cards, I realize I haven't spoiled them yet, are the Great Henge and the... Shit, well, I guess I should probably be able to name it. That Ancient 7 mana, 5/5 for 4 GGG that makes all of your mana tripled. And it sort of fits the bill. Both cards really sort of fit the bill of win more cards, specifically the Ancient, because by the time that you actually have 7 mana available, tripling your mana doesn't kind of feels a little bit like overkill, but at the same time, it's a really, really, really insane effect and allows you to do completely degenerate things, particularly in multiplayer. The Great Henge obviously feels very win more with Omnath, but you do get a lot of games where you just have Omnath kind of pumped up and sitting around and you're kind of waiting for things to happen. And the Great Henge, if you got it out, it allows you to draw cards every time you draw a creature, which allows you to cycle a lot faster. It pays for itself once Omnath's hulked out a little bit. It makes green mana under cards like Winter Orb and stuff. Feels pretty powerful to me, and maybe worthwhile using in 1v1 as well. I'm not convinced about that. Certainly not convinced about the Ancient, but we'll see how it goes. This game, like I said, small caveat, is not going to be able to showcase either of those games due to something pretty dumb that happens pretty quickly. All right, so I'm up against Nissa and Kestia, the Cultivator's brand new commander that I've seen quite a bit of, and good old Muldrotha, the Gravetide. All right, that guy leads with the budget blue-white dual land. And Raychurn over here plays a cycling land, which certainly makes sense in a Muldrotha deck. You can already see it's jumping ahead. It's so crazy. I have to be very careful. All right, so I've got a... Sorry, I didn't... I mulligan, I think, my first hand into this thing, which is quite good. Turn 1 Zenith into turn 2 Llanowar Tribe. Can't really complain about that. One thing, if you are playing Omnath, particularly in multiplayer where you get a free mulligan, you really, really need to mulligan into hands that have at least one accelerator. And that applies to 1v1 as well. It's almost certainly worth it to mulligan any type of kind of keepable hand with 3 land and nothing to do for an opportunity to get another 7 with a turn 1 play. Because a turn 1 play just allows the deck to just play out so much smoother. If you can play Omnath on turn 2, it just opens up so many different options for turn 3. And if you're just playing a 2-mana thing on turn 2 and hoping to play Omnath into counter magic and stuff and removal, it's just the deck's so much worse. I would say that a 5-card hand with a 1-mana accelerator is superior to a 7-card hand, an average 7-card hand that does not have that. So I've got Zenith, allows me to get out Dryad Arbor. I'm going to be very careful and deliberate here with my clicking. All right, up against Joe Chill. I actually played a bunch of 1v1 games against him after this. All right, he's got turn 1 Mana Vault, so he certainly has the best of all the turn 1 plays. All right, Ruby Tuesday plays very fair Rampant Growth. Gets a second Forest rather than a blue or white, which is a little puzzling, but he must have one of those in hand. And we go back to Mr. Raychurn over there. All right, what you doing there? Misty Rainforest. Into Underground Sea. And he casts Demonic Tutor. God, that's such an ugly picture. Alright, well, that doesn't bode well. I figure he goes and gets some sort of mana source to just ramp out his Muldrotha quickly. But I can probably outrun that just by playing turn 3 Llanowar Tribe. This is just so crazy. Turn 3 Gilded Lotus, basically doubling my mana to 6. And I've got Genesis Wave in here, and I'm figuring Next turn I'll probably play Pilgrimage and Omnath, and then the following turn I'll try to fire off a Genesis Wave for about 6 or 7, and hopefully that'll get me pretty far ahead in the game. We'll see what Joe Chill does. He can't really interfere with a creature, which is quite nice. He plays this odd card, Hour of Promise. Search your library for 2. Come in to play tap lands. It's just weird. Okay, well I guess it's just like a more expensive version of Sky Shroud Claim. It's a little strange to play in a mono green deck, but he must have his reasons. Alright, back to Ruby Tuesday. Alright, Idyllic Tutor. That's a cool card to see. I'm sure he's got all sorts of cool enchantments in there. And he reveals Smothering Tide. That's it right there. Or Tithe, sorry, Smothering Tithe. This card is just absolutely insane in multiplayer. It's so ridiculous. Just how it can generate so much mana in a multiplayer game, particularly when people are playing blue. Alright, on to turn 3 for Mr. Raychurn. Plays Breeding Pool. And he casts Flash. Oh, that's right. This card that was inexplicably unbanned a little while ago. I mean, I'm going to have something to say about this in a second. I don't want to belabor the situation here, but yep, and he's got the other half of the combo in hand, Protean Hulk, and Ruby Tuesday instantly scoops to it. And there's some new stuff. I mean, there's always obviously going to be ways to go off and kill automatically with this, but there's a new combo with it. So this guy concedes as well, and due to the presence of Thassa's Oracle, which allows you to win the game without even having to draw a card. It's so stupid. All right, so he uses Spellseeker. Spellseeker gets Demonic Consultation, and Blood Pet allows him to get black mana. So this 3-card combo just instantly wins the game. He just names anything, removes his entire deck from the game. Now Thassa's Oracle resolves, and it says that you try to put your Devotion to blue, try to look at the top 3, and if you don't have any cards available, you win. Yay. So fucking stupid. Honestly, I mean, it's just... I'm just going to complain a little bit about the stupidity of the multiplayer rules committee for a minute. Like, why on earth both of these cards are legal in a format where cards like Sylvan Primordial are banned is just completely... I mean, it's flabbergasting. I don't understand it at all. I can't imagine how... I mean, maybe it's just worse now that Thassa's Oracle got printed, and perhaps it'll cause a reevaluation of these effects. But the fact that you can deck yourself instantly with Demonic Consultation, the fact that there's a card that wins immediately if you're decked, that you can just tutor up for, it's really stupid. And if anybody has the ear of the rules committee, I strongly suggest doing something about probably this card. It's just, there is no interaction with Flash that isn't broken and degenerate and stupid. It was banned for years, and I think the format was better for it. And the fact that people feel encouraged to play stupid shit like this, just, I don't know, I mean, it kind of sucks. Like, I mean, obviously I play broken decks too, but I don't play broken bullshit decks that just combo kill the table in like 2 turns the way that this deck can. I mean, you can literally just win on turn 1 with it, and there's no reason to have cards like that and effects like that in a format that's meant to be interactive in multiplayer. So anyway, rant mode off. Let's go to game 2. So, I did not get to test either of my cards that game, unfortunately. And this game, I'm up against 3 new dudes. This is Runs with Bulls, Keldon Champion, and Bull7813. That's funny. I just remember that. These 2 Bull guys. Funny coincidence. All right. And I won the die roll. That's remarkable. All right. So, first hand I clicked to quickly was an automatic mulligan. It was basically like one of those hands I was describing. I think 3 mana. Bunch of expensive stuff, no acceleration, no way to keep it. And this hand is really interesting because I do have a Cultivate on turn 3, but it requires me to draw a 3rd land. I've got Garruk Wildspeaker, Harmonize, Oracle. I kind of look at this hand and I figure, well, I do have Cultivate. I am going first and I do get to draw a card. And I kind of break my own rule, but these effects are just so powerful. Garruk Wildspeaker, Primal Hunter. I just have to draw a land or any type of mana creature in the next couple of turns, and this hand turns amazing. So because of the sort of continuity of the rest of my hand, I decided to keep this, particularly because I'm going first. And multiplayer, obviously, going first means you get to draw. I think everybody keeps their 7. Oh, let's look at the commanders. So, got Runs with Bulls using Vorl. Gulta, Primal Hunger. That thing is scary, gigantic dinosaur. And the commander I've never seen before, Grevin, Predator Captain. It's kind of interesting. We'll see how he utilizes that commander. I'm sure it's a very build-around commander. And look at that, I'm rewarded instantly for my decision not to mulligan with a turn 1 Elvish Mystic. It's pretty incredible. Very, very lucky. But that's the way this deck is. I mean, I do have something like 15 turn 1 plays in it, so it's rare to not get one after two entire hands of 7. All right. Clicking along here. Clicking carefully so it doesn't screw the narration up. Again, I apologize for the pace of play here. All right, what's going on? Runs with Bulls. All right, plays an island. And just taps out. Keldon Champion. Plays Castle. Garenbrig. This card's pretty damn impressive. I was really impressed with it this game, actually. It does come into play tapped, but it does make 2 mana, and it's green mana as well, so it slots very, very nicely into the kind of deck he's using. It's a brand new addition from a couple sets ago. I guess Throne of Eldraine is what it's from. All right. And Mr. Bull over there with the swamp, not doing much. Okay. Coast is clear. All right. And I decided I'm just going to cultivate here. In 1v1, I'm much more likely to play Omnath turn 2, but against 3 opponents where removal is really common, I think it's much more important to just get lands into play. So I'm just going to cultivate. And we'll see what we do turn 3. Turn 3, I can run out Garruk Wildspeaker and then play Omnath that turn. All right, Coppermere. And it's a pretty unimpressive card over there. All right, Arbor Elf, and he taps out. Nothing scary yet. I'm definitely feeling like I'm quite ahead. Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth, and Arcane Signet. All right. Well, I do have Reclamation Sage in play, but one of my rules in multiplayer is unless there's something that's you really critically need to attend to, it's generally not worth it to sacrifice your own development at the expense of hurting other people. So, plus that just makes you unpopular. All right. I was thinking about playing Garruk Primal Hunter here, but I decided I'd rather save him for a little bit later, and when I can be guaranteed of using the ability. So I decided to play Garruk Wildspeaker instead, since the coast is pretty clear here. I can untap some mana, and now I play Omnath. This is the most efficient use of mana. Certainly casting Priest of Titania is tempting with 2 elves already in play. And then when it goes back to Mr. Runs with Bull's turn, I guess he decided that he's just outclassed, which I can understand with his seemingly casual deck, so he concedes. And we're down to 2. Kind of prefer that anyway. It just makes the game go a lot faster. All right, Keldon Champion. Mana Gorger Hydra. Not a card you see a lot of. Every time I play against this thing, it's just a nightmare to deal with, and it's so good. So good in a Ghalta deck, because every time any person plays a spell, it's kind of like it just generates a mana for him. And it gets huge, too, so it can trample and smash down planeswalkers quickly. And he just attacks with Arbor Elf, since it's not doing much. All right, Mr. Bull over here. He casts Greed. Very, very cool card to see. I love the synergy between Greed and Grevin. If you look at that, Grevin gets +X+0, where X is the amount of life you've lost this turn. If you Greed 3 times, he goes up to whatever. I mean, that's crazy. He goes up to 11 power, and he has Menace. Pretty damn awesome. I love cards like that, just seeing those seldom played cards that have a lot of synergy. And I actually accidentally clicked through my attack step too quickly here. I, of course, with everybody tapped out, would have played another land, used Garruk, and pumped the hell out of Omnath for more than 6 damage. I would have done an extra 3. All right, so post-combat, I decided to play Oracle of Moldiah. I don't really want to play Garruk Primal Hunter. I have to be very careful to tiptoe around this Mana Gorger Hydra. And unfortunately, there's just a Chrome Mox on top of my library, which is really not too useful. And after some consideration, I decided that I'd really like to get the Priest of Titanium into play, even though that means the Mana Gorger Hydra is going to get bigger. But this thing taps for 5 mana. And I have pumped Garruk up to 5/5, which means depending on what he does on his turn, I mean, I got to assume he has a spell In retrospect, it might have been worthwhile to just make a beast instead of untapping mana, because you see I've got 2 land here available. So I had enough to play Oracle Moldea and cast Priest Titania and make a beast, which might have compelled him to not attack me with the Mana Gorger Hydra, and would have kept Garruk in play. So I think that was actually quite a mistake. I mean, I got to figure he's going to have a spell. Sure enough, he's got quite a spell, Whisperwood Elemental, which has tremendous synergy with Ghalta as well. I mean, Ghalta's just totally crazy. This thing is just, it completely bypasses the commander tax in a deck with lots of big green things. You can just cast it for 2 mana over and over and over and over again. He's already got 10 power in play, so it costs 2. And sure enough, in comes the Mana Gorger Hydra. And I gave some thought to chump blocking with the Oracle Moldea to protect Garruk, at least for 1 more turn. But I don't really have a plan to keep Garruk in play long term anyway. And the Oracle has potential to get a lot of extra mana, more mana than Garruk can produce. So regretfully, I have to let it die. It sucks that my next card is Chrome Mox. All right. Let me go back to Mr. Bull's turn. 4 mana, and look at this Damnation. Well, I mean, I feel quite ambivalent about this. It does kill the Mana Gorger Hydra. That's not bad. It does, however, completely crush my board. I mean, I had so much mana production here, and I specifically did not chump block so I could utilize Oracle Moldea and the Priest next turn. And instead, Damnation is wiping all that stuff away, which is just such a pure punish on the Garruk. On the Garruk dying. And because of this dumb manifesting ability, Whisperwood Elemental, wow, yeah, you can, he's going to be able to manifest twice off those 2 creatures that are dying. So it's not like he lost any board presence at all. I mean, I guess he lost some big stuff, but he still has 2 creatures in play. And I know that I'm just drawing a Chrome Mox here. So this is really, really a difficult spot now. What to do? I could play Garruk Primal Hunter and just make a beast, which isn't a terrible play, but feels very risky to me given the fact of I don't really see a way back into this game without a big Garruk Primal Hunter activation, and I really don't want this guy drawing extra cards with Greed. I don't know if he's got any ability to, if he's got more land in hand, but I decide that even though it comes at a pretty steep price, I'm going to cast the Reclamation Sage. And I did have the option to cast Harmonize. If I hit a land and a trivial green card, I could have played them both in the same turn. But I don't really want to take that risk given how important it is for me to kill Greed off right now. And again, it's rare to go after somebody's stuff, but Greed is just so powerful when the guy has 33 life. I can't really abide people drawing lots of cards. And then he plays Vivian Reed. Ugh. That's like makes me feel bad. Spend my whole turn killing off an enchantment when he played Vivian Reed, which now gives him the ability to just look at the top 4. And he reveals Craterhoof Behemoth. All right, don't forget about that. That could come into play later on and cause serious problems. Does not attack. All right, and then he plays Douthie Embrace. That's an interesting card. Certainly has good synergy with his commander. All right. What do I really need to draw here? I kind of just need to draw more mana. All right. Oh, look, the Great Henge. Awesome. Well, I'm very, very glad to see that. This is one of the test cards, and can't quite play it yet, but pretty close. And drawing the Great Henge makes me feel like playing Garruk Primal Hunter is correct here. Now that I've got 2 creatures to block these manifest guys, I kind of need to start pressuring Vivian Reed because it ultimates really quickly. And if he's able to ultimate this with giving Ghalta indestructibility and making it 14/14, that's going to end the game in a hurry. So using Garruk also reduces the cost of the Great Henge some more. All right, so he uses that and reveals Nykthos. Man, Vivian Reed's so powerful. I wonder if I should have it in my deck. Every time I ever see these, there's like so many different good 5-mana green planeswalkers. I feel like I'm using the best one, or the best 2, Freely's and Nissa Who Shakes the World. But I don't know if Vivian Reed is possibly better than Freely's. They're kind of similar, actually. I do like that Freely's makes creatures, but the plus ability on Vivian's really powerful. Actually, truth of the matter is that Freely's ultimate is better because it's card draw. And now he's able to use this Castle Garen Brig to get 6. Plus he's got 4 in play. Oh, and I was thinking he only had 11 mana, and then he plays Soul Ring. Wonderful. So that means by tapping out exactly, he has the giant 12/12. And this is going at Bull. So Mr. Bull takes it. And this is amazing. He plays Hate Mirage. Choose up to 2 target creatures you don't control. You get a token of each one. So he gets Reclamation Sage and Galta. So he kills the Sol Ring and he gets a 12/12 with Trample. And he sends them both at Vivian, which is amazing because that actually causes Keldon Champion to block. Not only does it take 2 counters off Vivian if he doesn't block it, but it kills off the Galta for at least a little while. And I figure he might just kill off Vivian and leave the 12/12 in play, but in fact he does a trade. It's so nice when you play. Oh, god damn it! I have to be careful not to click. It's so nice when your opponent does stuff that affects the other guy. I'm just so used to always having everybody gang up on me. All right, so got some mana here. And thanks to the 3 Toughness Beast in play, I can now actually play the Great Henge. So first time I've ever put this card into play, and I'm immediately going to be able to draw a card off of it. That's right. Wall of Roots is a 1/6, and I draw. Nice. All right, I can make another token. Oh, actually, you know what I did when I was clicking quickly? I think I just drew 3 cards with Garruk Primal Hunter right away because I felt like I needed some more lands. I needed some action, even if it means that Garruk dies out. But he's actually not under any threat right now, so I should be able to keep him alive for a little longer. And I'm going to attack into Vivian again, get some creatures off the board, which is very valuable because each one of these creatures is like -2 mana. All right. And there's no thought about going Chrome Mox into Nature's Lore or something. It just wasn't going to do anything. I feel like all 3 of these cards are way too valuable right now to even risk imprinting. Okay. Another land comes down. I believe, yeah, that's right. He used his Vivian and he flipped over Steel Leaf Champion. Triple green mana for a 5/4. Very, very powerful with Galta. It's like all these things are nuts. This thing basically is like makes 5 mana for 3. The Galta mechanic is crazy. And you can see he's got more than enough mana now just with that. Oh, and he casts Bane of Progress. Huh. Well, my fun with the Great Henge was short-lived, sadly. This does kill off Arcane Signet, Doubt the Embrace, and Great Henge. I guess I'm not too unhappy about that because it does pretty much take Bull 7813 out of the game. And yeah, not too worried about him now. Okay. And he did not attack with the 5/4, which is kind of interesting. Oh, and I guess that's right, he cast it on the same turn. Of course, that's why I didn't attack with it. All right, I feel like I'm just falling behind a Keldon Champion, and poor Bull does nothing but play a very anemic Loxodon Warhammer. All right, I got another full untap step here. Okay, Steel Hellkite, that's really interesting. So on my turn, I've got 6, 7, 8 mana. I was really considering 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, actually only 7. I would have done something probably like cast to Harmonize and then probably cast Nature's Lore and hopefully cast Omnath, but I drew Steel Hellkite, and Steel Hellkite is phenomenal because it gives me an answer to Vivian Reed, provided that this guy does not recognize what Vivian Reed's middle ability is. So this is a bit of a risk. I am going to destroy his Nykthos because it's making crazy amounts of mana now. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's just so crazy. The Galta costs 4 right now, it looks like. So it's just trivial for him to play it. Can't attack. And I'm sitting here thinking, with his Vivian Reed in play, I'm just thinking, please just forget about the fact that it kills stuff. Just draw cards. And he thinks for a little bit. And a little bit longer, and he uses it. Wow, okay. And he flips over Gigantosaurus. Look at that thing. 5 mana, 10/10 vanilla. But ridiculously insane with his Dino Commander. All right, so both these guys are coming in. That's going at Bull, and these two are coming at Garruk. And I don't really have any way of keeping Garruk alive, sadly. So I'm going to be double blocking. I think about this for a while, and I eventually decided I'm going to double block the Steel Leaf Paladin because it has triple green and also has this unblock ability. And I don't really want to get Bane of Progress in the graveyard either. I mean, I did think about double blocking it, but if it gets in the graveyard, he might have the ability to regrow it and use it right away to kill off the Steel Hellkite. And it is pretty hard to destroy, obviously, with Steel Hellkite because of the 6 casting cost. But I'm not going to be doing it for 3 anyway, since I'm going to be trying to kill off Vivian Reed. And the fact that he actually revealed... Alright. He reveals Gigantosaurus, and that just instantly makes this thing free, basically. Well, 2. And he's got exactly 1 mana left over. Completely nuts. Look at that. 22 power worth of creatures come into play. Galta is pretty insane. And poor Bull over here can't do anything. And fortunately I can attack here. I can hit Keldon himself and pay 5. And I actually, because multiplayer mechanics matter, I actually whispered to Bull and I told him that if he would handle the Galta, I would happily kill off the other threats. And he said, deal. So multiplayer politics do matter sometimes. You gotta account for that if you're playing multiplayer. I don't think many people play with whispers normally, but I think when you are playing multiplayer online, you kind of do have to communicate with your opponents, because if you don't, then you miss out on opportunities like this one. So I attack him, hit Keldon for 5, pay 5 to kill off the incredibly threatening Vivian Reed before I can take down the Steel Hellkite. And now I just have to deal with these 2 guys. With very little resources here, but I do have a lot of life. And I get Dryad Arbor there. And in retrospect, as soon as I did this, I kind of regretted it, because Bull might have another way to kill off all the creatures, like a Toxic Deluge or something, and it would suck to just lose land for no reason. The reason why I did get Dryad Arbor with Nature's Law is because it does represent the ability to block once, and I figured that a free block down the road might actually make a difference if my life total starts to get threatened. I know that this thing has Trample, but Bane doesn't. And he does have that the Craterhoof Behemoth in his hand still. Fortunately, because I killed off the Nykthos, it's going to be a little harder for him to play it, but let's see here. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, he can't quite cast it due to the Nykthos being gone. Alright, bunch of mana being tapped here. Alright. It's so weird how you have to spend it that way. It's really stupid. The interface is so dumb. Alright, he plays Regal Force. So I whispered out Bull as this thing's on the stack. If you've got instant speed removal, now's the time to play it. Like kill off Galta or something. Fortunately, he just draws 3. And these guys all come crashing in. Yeah, they're all headed at me. So I'm just going to have to... Actually, that's a Bull. These 2 big guys are at me. I'm just going to have to take the hit right on the face. Smash. Down to 25. And he plays Expedition Map. All right, come on, Bull. Bull says to me, all I need to do is draw land, and I can handle this stuff. Sure enough, he draws his own Shrine Nykthos. And he casts Phyrexian Purge. Huh. Pretty cool, actually. It's a bit like Fire Covenant here, but even better against big things. And he elects to spend 9 life killing off Steel Hellkite and these 2. And I really wish he had spent 3 more life to kill off Regal Force, but, you know, that's a little greedy. It's pretty satisfied with that, and that prevents me from dying next turn automatically to Craterhoof Behemoth. And then I untap and top deck Soul Ring. Hell yeah, okay. I've got 6, 7, 8 mana, 9. All right. Well, I'm not quite dead yet. He's going to be able to Craterhoof Behemoth me next turn, but based on the fact that I'm at 25 and 2 of those big creatures are dead, I know that I have at least 1 more turn to survive, and putting a big creature into play will really help. So on this turn, I'm going to play the Vorinclex and just hope that Keldon doesn't have something completely insane to kill me with. It's going to be hard for him to cast Craterhoof Behemoth and do any really other appreciable damage. Let's see what he does here. All right. Ooh, wow. Ulvenwald Tracker. Very, very strong in his deck, too. And so good with Yavimaya Hollow as well. All right. Well, he's tapping all of his mana, but because of that crazy castle, you notice he's got exactly 8, and that is the Craterhoof. Get all these triggered abilities off the stack. And down it comes. +4/+4 to everything, and haste and trample. Take a look at this. 9 + 9 is 18 + 6, 24 damage. I mean, 25. Pretty ridiculous. And obviously the Ulvenwald tracker can't attack because I block it with Vorinclex, but he could send it at Bull. Perhaps now he views Bull as an ally, so he doesn't attack with that at all. And I'm going to just... And I don't really want to go to 1 life against a guy who's playing black-red, so as much as I'd like to have that 3/3 in play, I decide I can just chump block a little bit and keep myself at a healthy life total of 4. A lot better than being at 1, I think, against black-red. And look what the follow-up is here. Bull taps out and plays Mana Barbs. Whenever a player taps a land for mana, it deals 1 damage to that player. Can you imagine if I was at 1 life? Yep. I'm so glad I chump blocked there when he plays that. Because I actually do have an out. It's going to be massively painful, but due to the fact that my lands are doubled and I have a Chrome Mox in play, I would have the ability to go get a way to handle it. I could go get Zenith for Acidic Slime to kill it off. But I would not be able to do that if I was at 1. So we do have an out. All right, come on, deck. Oh my god, how insanely lucky. I top deck Nature's Claim and kill off Mana Barbs. Ridiculous. All right, so remember before I mentioned that Ancient. I don't recall the name of it, but this is the turn to give it a shot. So perfectly set up to do this. And in retrospect, I should not have actually tapped Soul Ring to do this. I should have used Wall of Roots because it doesn't require me to tap anything. Well, I guess maybe it's kind of a wash. I don't know if I have a use for tons of colorless mana. All right, this is Zenith for 7. You guys ready to see some utter craziness? Get ready. All right, so Zenith goes off. Here's the current version of the deck. I removed from multiplayer to bring in the Great Henge and the other card. What did I take out? Don't actually recall. I think I took out, well, Worldly Tutor got cut a little while ago, so that made room for 1 card. Oh, it was the Emrakul, the Promised End. As much as Emrakul seems like it's a good multiplayer card, I just kept drawing it all the time and just not able to play it, and it felt extremely win more in the few games that I did actually play it. So I cut it for now. I don't know if that's correct. It is a pretty unique effect, but I kind of feel like once you reach that stage of the game, you can kind of win with the other stuff. So there it is, Nyxbloom Ancient. Trample. If you tap a permanent for mana, it produces 3 times as much as mana instead. So that means Soul Ring taps for 6. So insane. All right, down it comes. These lands are pretty beefy now. So I tap 1 land and I cast Harmonize, and I get Regrowth. Oh my goodness. All right. I got to just live 1 turn, and fortunately, Vorinclex has made that possible. So I'm going to play the Chrome Mox, and that imprints Mr. Elf. This Chrome Mox taps for 3. It's a Gilded Lotus. All right, tap for 3. Play Nissa. Nissa pays for herself. In fact, generates mana, because I have not played a land this turn. All right, there's 8 green. So insane. All right, down comes Omnath. And I decide, just in the name of caution, I decide to go in, as much as I like to draw a card with Nissa, I decide to just make this silly elemental. So I've got quite a big board of blockers to hold on against Keldon Champion for just 1 turn, because all I need to do is just get an untapped step. And fortunately, the Vorinclex is making it really, really hard for them to do much against me. All right, all he's got is a land. Nothing. Goes to Bull's turn. And we're back online. He's completely tapped out. All right, end of the turn. Utterly crazy. 12 mana. And I draw a Mana Vault. It's so ridiculous. Costs 1 to cast, taps for 9. And I use Nissa and flip or reveal Ugin the Spirit Dragon as well. Pretty damn insane. All right, but we've got a higher calling than Ugin, I think, this turn. All right, tap Soul Ring for 6. Mana Vault for 9. I have 26 mana available. All right, we're just going to tap a few of these for us. Yeah, that's so ridiculous. And I cast Regrowth, targeting Garruk Primal Hunter. And obviously I have the ability to just attack over to the right with Omnath, but I figure I can draw my entire deck this turn. And there's probably more insane things to do than attacking anyway. All right, I play Garruk and use his ability to draw 44 cards. Oh my god, look at this insanity. All right, oh yeah, there's the Serpapart as another sideboard card. All right, all the way out to the right, there's Mindslaver, there's Eternal Witness, Sword of Feast and Famine. So gross. All right, Llanowar Tribe. And keep in mind, these are all tripled. Thran Dynamo tripled. Gilded Lotus tripled. Gaia's Cradle tripled. So insane. And because of Lightning Greaves, which showed up in this crazy mass of cards as well, there it is right there. Lightning Greaves allows me to play all these 1-mana guys that generate mana. So I can play Tree Speaker, level it up, tap it for 6. Play Llanowar Elves, tap it for 3. Oh my god, play Llanowar Tribe, tap it for 9. Okay, well, to me this was pretty decisive. Nyxbloom Ancient clearly belongs in the multiplayer list. It is, even if it's not the best card, it's so fun and decadent. Oh yeah, and Selvala, good lord. Triple the mana. Unreal. All right, well, we're going to build up to that. I play Lightning Greaves. And before I do that, I'm about to tap it, and I realize, oh, wait, I can generate way more mana. So I play the Finhorn Elf. Tap it, 42. Play the Bird. Throw the Greaves on that. Tap it, 42. Play Llanowar Tribe. Tap it, 51. At this point, Bolos realizes he's seen enough. And in short order, Keldon Champion also packs it in. I mean, this was going to just keep going. I could, in terms of like how much mana this would have generated, it is truly staggering how much mana I could have generated this turn. Hundreds and hundreds. Plus, I've got double Mindslaver, and I've got, yeah, I mean, obviously, I just win immediately. So maybe it was a little bit win more, but Nyxbloom Ancient, so cool. So cool to watch it in action as it's on its sort of on its maiden voyage in multiplayer. I mean, I had it in the deck in the last game, but of course everybody died on turn 3, so no, didn't get a chance to test it. But this was pretty good trial run here, and I was insanely impressed by how powerful this card is, and looking forward to playing it in some future games, and hopefully that'll produce some videos. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully you enjoyed some multiplayer action, and I will see you all soon.